Hello everyone, my name is Raymond and today let's talk about progressive web apps or PWA for short. So in this video, I will just focus on the first three sections. First, the definition of PWA. Second, the characteristic of PWA. What makes PWA so special, so unique? And finally, I will give a comparison between PWA and web apps and between PWAs and native apps. And also, I will give some example of and when should we use PWA in real life. And for the fourth and fifth section, I will mention them in my next video. Okay, so let's first go to the first section, the definition of PWA. But before we go into finding what PWA actually is, let me introduce to you about the two types of app that most people use nowadays. First, we have web apps. You can simply call them as websites that we can access to them from the browser or the device. And with websites, we can develop them from a single code base. And second, we have the platform-specific apps. So with platform-specific apps, for each platform we want to deploy our apps on, we will have to follow that platform process and requirements. So the process of developing a native apps can be much more time-consuming. So nowadays, with the advancement of technology, more and more modern devices introduced. So platform-specific apps, they have new features, they have advanced features that only native apps can perform, but web apps cannot. So this may create a gap between web apps and native apps. So because of this gap, we might introduce as a method to bring web apps closer to native apps by implementing native apps like features on the web app. So progressive web apps or PWA, it is called just a simple but normal web app that we can develop it using our code, using the text, using what we do with a normal site. And however, PWA is progressively enhanced, which means that with the open web technologies, we can make PWA to provide the best user experience on type of device on type of platform. So PWA can combine both the rich, the availability, and the accessibility of websites with the capability, the advanced features that native apps can perform. So one term that is tightly related to the PWA is progressive enhancement, which is a design philosophy stating that PWA can must provide a baseline website experience for all type device for all type platforms. However, objects or PWA can adapt and change its behavior based on the type of device or based on the type of browser. For example, on different type of device, the PWA can have interface that bring out the best user experience. And for modern browser, PWA can be installed and used as an app, and PWA can perform even when there is no internet connection. So I have introduced about the definition of PWA. Next, let's talk about the characteristic of PWA. So first, here is a basic, a simple user flow when they go into a website that is also a PWA. So when we go to websites that use a PWA, we will see an icon or a notification stating that we can download this website. If we press on the download button, the website will be downloaded onto our device and we can open the website and we can use them just like a native app. And also, PWA will have the ability to perform offline, which means that when there is no internet connection, we can still use the PWA with some symbol, with some interface, with some function. On the other hand, with web apps, if there is no connection at all, we will just see the default browser with stating that there is no connection. So before going to the next content, I will let me give you a simple demo. So at this page, I have a simple web app which is if we keep pay of PWA. So now when I go to the developer tools, I switch to the offline mode and I reload the page. So as you can see, we will see the default page of the browser stating that there is no internet and we can do nothing with this. However, with PWA, so here I have a simple PWA which was provided by the Microsoft team. So if I switch to the offline and I reload the page, as you can see, there's still some UI and I can still do some functions with the PWA. And also, if a website is a PWA, you can see here this icon stating that I can download this website. When I first install, the website will be downloaded onto my device and I can use them just like a native app. So one funny fact about PWA is that because PWA in its core, it is just a normal website. So with this UI, we see it like a normal native app, but actually this is a browser. We are opening the PWA on a browser. However, the normal browser interface like the search bar or the tab bar is hidden, so we feel like that we are using a native app. Okay, so let us return to the slide. I will hide this notification. Okay. So here are the 8 characteristics of PWA. So with responsive and linkability, this is the simple characteristic of a normal website. So I won't talk about that. So we have the secure, which means that PWA we must use HTTPS or hypertext transfer for secure with PWA to make the communications between the client and server to be reliable. And we have the progressive enhancement, which I have talked about it at the start of this video. So I will be expanding this four core characteristics. First, we have discoverability, which means that PWA we can access to a PWA through the browser by going to the URL, or we can find PWA on the store and we can download it. Next is the installability, which I have just demoed for you. So with PWA, we can go to the website on the browser and we can download the website and we can use the website just like a normal native app. And thirdly, we have the reliability, which means that PWA can push notifications, can update the user with information even when the user they are not using the website or when the website is not active. And finally, we have the network independence, which means that PWA can perform without any connection. They can perform simple interface or simple function. Okay, I have talked about the characteristic and the definition of PWA. So let's go into compare PWA with the two types of traditional apps. And I will use to some uses of PWA. So first, PWA versus web apps. So in terms of the three first characteristic, it's very evident that first, PWA can be installed on device. Second, PWA can perform some functions, some can remain some interface even when they are offline. And thirdly, PWA can push notifications to the user even though the user is not using the website at the moment. And with these three features, the web app cannot perform them. So next, in terms of performance and security, it's hard to compare between the two because it mostly depends on how you develop your project. But in general, experts believe that the PWA will be much more benefit. Firstly, in terms of performance, PWA can perform offline and PWA will have cache mechanism which helps optimize your website. Second, with PWA, you must use HTTPS, but for web app, there will still be the website that use HTTP, so they will be much more less secure. And next, with the customization, so when we develop a PWA, you have to pay mind both the inside the UI of the browser and the mobile phones. But with web apps, you just need to stick with the default browser UI. Okay, next with the distribution. So it is clear that with PWA, we can access to PWA through URL. We can find PWA on the store. Okay, next let's talk about PWA-based native app. So in terms of development process, experts believe that PWA is much more cheaper and faster because with PWA we can develop a website just by going through the same process as when we develop a normal app. And so with PWA, if it's not compulsory, you don't have to go through the time-consuming and messy process of pushing your app to the install, because with PWA you can directly install your apps through the browser. Next is the web security. So it is similar to the in the case of web apps, it is hard to compare between the two because it will depend on how you develop your website. But in terms of PWA, they will use HTTPS, and in terms of native app, they will be built in security measure. So next, in terms of installation, PWA will take less time to install, and PWA will also take less space in your memory. And for performance, because PWA they will have cache mechanism, so PWA will load faster. But because PWA is just deal with web apps and native apps, they can directly interact with the device hardware. So the native apps they will have lower latency and better performance when compared to PWA. And finally, in terms of functionality, because PWA will try to implement native app-like features to the web apps, but it is called PWA, it's just new web apps. So they are platform-specific, device-specific features that native app can do, but PWA cannot do. Okay. So when to decide to make your products into a PWA. So let's talk about a use case. So one of the reasons for many business to make their products into a native app because they have some specific features that they want their user to use frequently, and they mix their products into native apps so that the user can minimize the time to access these features. So in this case, if you see that you see that the native app you want to do, they have features that a normal PWA can perform, and you can considering instead of making your product into a native app, you can make it into a PWA instead. And with PWA, you will gain more advantage in terms of time, in terms of money, and you will have a wider reach to the customer. So next is some case study about how the famous brands they use PWAs in their products. First, I have the use case about Starbucks. Starbucks implement PWA in their ordering system. So when the user go to the Starbucks website, they order some food, they purchase. The process will be much more quicker. And with PWA, even when the internet is off, the user can still see the list of products, and they can still add products into their cart. And when the internet is on again, they can continue with the purchase. So with PWA, the disruption in the user experience will be minimized. And so for the case of Google and Gmail, PWA will help solve their problems in terms of geographical locations, because there are locations where there is like weak connection or there is no connection at all, or there is places that they use 2G or 3G connections. So with the offline conveniency of PWAs, Google and Gmail can maintain their service. They can ensure that the service remains stable for the user. And so that is also the last content of this video. So in the next video, I will talk about what you will need to do to build your own PWA. And also I will demonstrate a simple PWA built with React. So thanks for listening to this video. See you next time.